My name's Mel and I'm 29.
Yes, and Travis and I'm 27.
We've had 16 placements all up. Some of them have just been for a couple of nights, and then right up to we've had 2 placements that were 8 months long, and a few that have been a couple of months long, and it just depends on the case and the child and what we're asked for.
Even small things like a bedtime story, it's something we always do, and we always have and always will. A lot of them haven't had a bedtime story and they always talk about it. And they're like, oh, can we get a story tonight? And you're like, all right. A simple kick in the backyard, one kid in particular will talk about it all the time. And I'm like, wow, okay. Like, just something so small, but that could be the big difference.
And I always do a life storybook when they leave so that they get photos of the time that they've had with us. Most of these kids don't have pictures from when they're little. And when they do come into care, if you don't think about doing that, then that's just blanked out years for them when they're older, where they don't remember what happened or who they lived with. Like, we don't realise that our parents, when we're growing up, take pictures of our first bike and, you know, we've walked and we talked, and they document all that. Most of the time this hasn't happened for these kids. And if they're in care for a few years and you don't do it, there's nothing for them. We've had brilliant support workers at Berry Street. Like, we've had the main one. She's been incredible. I would call her and be like, so this has happened and I don't know what to do. Help. And she'd be like, okay, you know, and we'd come up with ideas, and it helped heaps. Any issues we have, we can talk to her about. Most of the time she just checks in to make sure that we're looking after ourselves as well, because that's a big part of being a carer.
Which Berry Street are really good at. They make sure that you do look after yourself and you're doing things within your means, and I think that's, you know, our worker Katie was really good at that.
It doesn't matter how bad they've got it, we have never had a kid that doesn't want to go home. They all just want their parents, and their parents aren't bad people. They've just, most of them haven't been parented themselves. It's a generational issue. Like, nobody goes out and gets pregnant and goes, well, I'm gonna, you know, not look after this kid or feed it, and I'm not gonna love it and care for it. You know, they all love their kids. They just don't have the skills themselves. It's mainly the long-term placements that you see behaviours in, because the kids do start to settle and they start to then be able to deal with the trauma they've been through, and that's where you get your behaviours from. Like, normally if we've only had a kid for a month or so, it's like honeymoon. Everyone just gets along, has fun, it's great. But I love the challenge of long-term placements, because you do see them work through their trauma, and once you get through all that, you just have this beautiful kid that's, you know, able to function a lot better in the world. It's just rewarding. Like, you see them come in a certain way, and sometimes during the placement you don't recognise the changes that are happening because you're caught up in behaviours and things, and then you look back, like, you know, when they go home and you're like, wow, like that little boy who came to us who we couldn't touch because he would cringe, and he just left like this really vibrant, happy little boy, and you didn't sort of appreciate it till you looked back and remembered. I remember the first day he walked through the door and he was just this scared, terrified little boy, and there's moments like those when you're like, yeah, okay, where's my next placement? Send us another one.
Positive for our kids to see other kids that live differently and you have unfortunate circumstances. That's right, and to teach them to empathy, and rather than judge people that have different backgrounds and haven't had the same opportunities, how to help them instead of judge them. So I think it's going to be really positive for our kids to be brought up with foster children. So make sure we're more aware of how you can actually treat people differently to change. And which changes us, really. It changes the way we look at life.
It works around your life so much, I don't think people realise that. Like, you can do full-time care, which we've done quite a few full-time cases where you have them for extended periods of time. But like, at the moment we've cut back and we're just doing respite care, so it's a couple of days here and there. When we have this baby, we plan on having a couple of months off, and then we'll get back into it, but we'll just do the occasional weekend for a night or two until we build back up till baby's a bit older. And it just constantly adapts to your lifestyle, and I don't think people realise how adaptable foster care is. People go, well, I couldn't do it because I'd get too attached. And I'm like, yeah, but I'd rather get too attached and help that kid than turn my back and never know them. So yeah, single parents and that can do it. Berry Street do put in a lot more supports and that to make sure that they're not overstressed as a single parent. It's the same, I know a lot of gay couples and that are starting to foster care. It's brilliant. And the kids benefit just as much. We've got a gay friend and he's going through the training in that at the moment, and we know he's going to be the best foster dad. And those kids are going to be so lucky, whereas there used to be this perception that you've had to have had a really good life to be a foster carer, but that's so not the case.
The kids do not care. Like, you can have all the fancy bits and pieces and the kids don't care. As long as you're there to look after them and show them that you actually care, that's all they care about.